The double standards that exist in the British police it's quite shocking, to be honest. And we're seeing more and more instances where the double standards play out with regard to Jews in Israel versus the anti-Israel, pro-Palestine, as they like to call it, demonstrations. But the double standards even run deeper than that. Now, whether or not this is a coordinated effort from the top, I don't know. It may well just be down to sometimes naivety from police officers and certain kind of woke cultural narratives that kind of vaguely inform how they make decisions. But whether it's intentional or not, it is happening and it needs to be dealt with. And one example that I look at, and it's just so... the double standard is so clear in plain sight, is this. So as Kosher Cockney pointed out, have a look at these two videos, which supposedly show, on the one hand, we have Jews being prevented from accessing their own synagogue by the Met Police while there were these anti-Israel protests outside. Let's watch this one first.
Preventing us from going to our own synagogue. Well, yes, you are. You don't let me go to my synagogue, even though I have an invitation to the event. Your colleague down there will not let me go to the synagogue because apparently I'm a protester.
Anyone who wanted to do that.
Your colleague down there.
Anyone who wants to go do that.
Okay, so please, can you instruct your colleague?
From what I've seen,
Preventing.
Right, so then on the other hand, we have a masked protester being escorted and directed to the same synagogue by the same Met Police.
So you're going out there, yeah? Come with me, we're going to do a little bit.
So I want to point you towards a tweet that Dov Foreman wrote. He's the great-grandson of the late great Holocaust Auschwitz survivor Lily Ebert. He's also a fantastic Jewish activist. And he wrote as follows: "Something is going very wrong in Britain. We're watching a country where the police seem able to shut down protests they don't like, bend to political pressure when it suits them, and yet somehow become completely powerless when Jewish people are the ones targeted. A country where anti-Semitism is rising at levels we haven't seen for decades, and where too many of our institutions look the other way. And this week, two scandals show just how deep the problem now runs. First, the West Midlands Police. A few weeks ago, they banned Israeli and Jewish fans from attending a football match in Birmingham. This weekend, we learned that the intelligence, quote-unquote, used to justify that ban appears to have been based on claims that Dutch police now say were untrue, inaccurate, or simply meaningless. To the Jewish community, this doesn't look or feel like a misunderstanding, especially as the police are still defending their actions. It looks like Britain's second largest police force inventing intelligence to exclude Israelis and Jews from a football stadium in Britain. Doing this to bow to extremists who control the streets of our second city and to placate a violent mob. Today, unbelievably, we see the same two-tier policing against Jews again. A pro-Palestine group is protesting outside a synagogue in London. Not an embassy, a synagogue. Because Jewish families are attending an Aliyah event, helping people move to Israel. That's it. The Met says there is no legal mechanism to stop it. Strange, because they did have a legal mechanism to stop a UKIP, which is a right-wing political party, a UKIP protest against immigration in Tower Hamlets a few weeks ago. But when extremists target a synagogue 6 weeks after two were murdered outside one in Manchester, suddenly the law vanishes. Even with a massive police presence, the anti-Semites still reach the gates of the synagogue tonight. So let's be honest, if this was happening outside a mosque, the protest would have been banned. If the victims weren't Jewish, the police response would be entirely different, and everybody knows it. Britain is becoming a place where Jews are told to accept second-class protection, second-class rights, and second-class policing. That cannot continue. This country is better than this, or at least it used to be. And you know, what Dov says there actually gets, for me, to the heart of the issue. Because don't think that this is just about the Jews. Don't think that we're just saying this because we're purely self-interested. If the police force is going to have double standards, it's going to cave or submit to those who hate Britain, who hate the West, and constantly bow to the extremists, but suppress those who actually do believe in British values, that's not just going to stop with the Jews. That's going to lead to the demise of Britain. If you turn your back on the Jews, that is a red flag that says you are about to abandon values that will make your country great and successful. When God said to Abraham, I'll bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you, that's not just some kind of deep mystical spiritual idea. It's actually saying, no, if a country, if a people, if a group bless Israel, meaning not just bless them, but they subscribe to the same values that Israel, the Jews, do, in terms of those biblical values, those Abrahamic values, then they will naturally thrive, because that's the way God made the world to be. That if you have good values and good morals, there will be fantastic building blocks for your society. And if not, if you curse that, then you're going to be cursed. So I actually think that's part of, that applies, directly to these circumstances. And one of the key pillars of Jewish morality is it says, when someone rises to kill you, you rise up and kill them first. Meaning that it's not moral just to lay down and say, no, I'm going to turn the other cheek and just be nice to everyone. As the Talmud says, if you're kind to the cruel, you'll end up being cruel to the kind. The West has lost its moral backbone to stand up to evil and bad ideas, and instead just believes in this kind of generic, multicultural, relativist morality that really doesn't have any sense of right or wrong, and says that everything that's anti-Western must really have a point, and we're just guilty, so we just have to lay down and let them walk all over us. If they continue to do that, they will walk all over you. So this is a warning. This is the canary in the coal mine moment, where Britain and many other societies and civilizations need to ask, who do they truly wish to be? If you just hold on for a moment, there's something big I wanted to flag with you. We talk a lot about the forces lined up against Israel today, but there's one power, one massively influential player that almost never gets spoken about openly. A state that smiles at the West while quietly empowering Israel's enemies. It's a story that's been hiding in plain sight until now. Have a watch of the trailer for our new JTV Plus documentary called Qatar, the Great Deceiver, and you can watch it in full now by clicking the link below in the video description. Qatar, a gleaming nation on the Arabian Peninsula. All glass towers and gold-plated excess, where the super rich jet in for the art fairs and World Cups, where Western universities open campuses and diplomats toast to partnership. But look closer at the glittering mirage, and the shimmer reveals something sinister. For 2 decades, this tiny state has been executing the greatest con in modern geopolitics, convincing the world it's a bridge between civilizations, while secretly bankrolling the arsonists on both sides. The name Qatar should make Western leaders shudder. Instead, they shake hands with its emirs, park fighter jets on its soil, and call it an ally. On October 7, 2023, the mask slipped, as 1,200 souls were slaughtered in Israel in a symphony of savagery orchestrated by Hamas. The world saw where the terrorist leaders live, not in tunnels beneath Gaza, but in luxury villas in Doha, under Qatar's protection. And as the bodies were being counted, Qatar's leaders didn't condemn the massacre, they called for restraint. This is the untold story of the Gulf's master deceiver, how a nation smaller than Connecticut is playing the West for fools. As you are watching this, billions are flowing from Doha into extremist networks, while Western elites cash Qatari checks and sing its praises. In this JTV Plus documentary, we follow the money, we expose the double game, and we ask the question that should haunt every Western capital. How are we letting them get away with it? To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.